Hey, hello again. It's me, Master God, given Betiles, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my video about music management. Alright, so now guys, on the previous videos I've been teaching you about what is a music manager and all sort of stuff, and up until how to pay your music manager. Right now it's about the contracts, the agreement now that you need to draft down between a band and the music manager, or an artist and the music manager, how to draft that management contract. So I'm going to be guiding you through those steps, guys. So if you're interested in drafting a contract between you, and maybe you are a manager, perhaps you're the manager, you just want to draft the contract, a management contracts between you and your band, but you don't know how. So I'm going to be guiding you through all those steps right now. Okay, just give me your ear and I'm going to give you the idea. All right, okay. The management contract. Okay, beyond the important provision of the amount of money you will have to pay the manager, a typical management agreement is several pages long, contains other equally important provisions. Okay, length of the contract, okay. One of these provisions in the term or length of the contract, any management agreement or contract of any type for that matter, shall contain a section that addresses how long the contract will be in effect. How long the contract will be in effect. So you don't just draft the contract without knowing how long it will be in effect and when it's going to end. Like, as it's going to start on this date, it's going to be effected from this date, and it's going to end. You need the time frame, like the duration, like how long it's going to take. All right. And then most management companies are going to want to sign you to an initial period of no less than 1 year, and very likely will ask for an even longer term. From the company's perspective, they do not want to invest a significant amount of time and money into your musical career only to have your contracts expire and not be renewed. Of course, from the band's point of view, a shorter term may be preferable to a longer term, okay? At least until you know how the manager-artist relationship is going to work out. One way to negotiate this provision so that the needs of both parties are met is to set up a shorter initial period followed by the series of option years. The contracts can be drafted so that the management company has an automatic option to renew if certain stated income goals are reached. Alternatively, the contracts can contain a short initial period followed by an automatic renewal right, unless there are grounds to avoid this option right. Under no circumstances should you sign a contract for a period of longer than 7 years. The laws in some states or some countries, such as, okay, maybe states like California or South Africa, say that a contract for a term longer than 7 years is not enforceable. But even more importantly, a longer term contract is too long a time period to be in the artist's best interest. You see, so you don't wanna put yourself in a hook, like in a pit, like on a trap, like a rat. You just want to make sure that your contract is not too long. I think 2 years or 3 years. Okay, 3 years is a bit long, maybe 2 years, you know. If it's your first time and you don't know that company very well, you know, once you sign a contract maybe for 2 years, I think it's better. Maybe 3 years, yeah, that's the longest, not longer than that. Then if you notice that after 2 years there's no difference in your life, there's no improvement, there's no breakthrough, then you can move on to another. Imagine if you sign a contract for 6 years and this company is not doing anything for you. Your musical career is just going down and down and down, and you're bound to this company. Remember, once you sign a contract, you sign an agreement, you're bound to that agreement, which means you're not allowed to release any song by yourself or a single track or anything. You're not allowed to move on to go for other greener pastures like other record labels, because you're bound to this contract up until the duration has been reached, or up until the end of the contract. or up until the contract has been expired. You understand? Until it expires, you're still bound to that contract. So that means if that record label or that music manager, that management company is not doing a great job, you have put yourself in a snare, in a trap. You are trapped up until the contract is expired, unless both of parties, come to an agreement to terminate the contract, because none of the things that you have agreed upon has happened. You understand? So you can speak to a music manager or that record label that you have signed the contract with, that, hey guys, I've signed a contract with you for this long, but up until now I don't see any difference, guys. Can we just sign an agreement or can we terminate the contracts rather? Because I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to sit down and do nothing like a potato in a couch. I just want to get up and do something. I just want to go and find kind of postures. If they agree, then you are free to go. And I would advise you that while drafting that contract, there has to be some part of the contract where if this and that does not occur or does not happen, then you can terminate the contract. You need to have something like that, because if you don't have those options to terminate the contract, that means you're going to be bound up until the contract expires. But if you have something that says, if this and that it does not happen, then I can cancel or we can terminate the contracts, then it will be better. Because if they don't do what they promised to do, or you don't do what you promised to do, then the contract can be terminated. You understand what I mean? But now if there's no such or an option in the contract, then you just agree to sign the contract up until it expires, then that's what has to happen. You cannot go for other record labels, you cannot go for other management companies up until this one has expired. I hope you understand what I mean right now. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, so this is the last thing that I just want to say, the duties of the manager, right? Your management contract should also contain a section setting out duties your manager is undertaking. Like, you're signing a contract, you need to know what your manager is going to offer on the table, what is going to be doing. You understand? And also, what are you going to be doing as an artist or as a band? You need to know all those kind of things that must be included in the contract, all right? You may want to obtain an assistant of an attorney if you find yourself in this situation. So you can find an attorney if you have enough money to afford to pay one, but if you cannot afford an attorney, then you can just discuss this with a music manager, or find someone who knows this thing better, because you do need some advice, on how to do this kind of things. You understand? All right. So your manager, okay, like this is what I'm saying. Okay, your management contract should contain a section setting out duties managers undertaking. The language in the section may state something to the effect of: your manager agrees to advise, counsel, direct you in matters relating to your professional career in areas such as selection of material, publicity and marketing, compensation and other general practices in the entertainment industry. Additionally, the manager's duties may include helping you pick the other people to be on your team, such as other musicians and your booking agent. Okay, so those are the duties of the manager, right? So now the other one is authority of manager. Management contracts often contain a section setting out what actions the manager is authorized to take on your behalf. Items that may appear in the section include the authorization to approve publicity and advertising, including the use of your name and photograph. There may also be a section authorizing the management company to sign contracts on your behalf. Generally, this section should be limited into signing basic contracts, such as performance agreements for such term engagement less than 3 days. You and the management company can negotiate whether the things your manager is authorized to do may be done without without consulting you. On the other end of the spectrum, your management contract may specify that your manager is authorized to do these things only after you've agreed to them in writing. Although this is much less common, it's always a practical way of doing things. Along the same lines, the contract should also contain provisions that set out to the extent of the management company's authority to occur expenses that the artist must pay. Generally, these expenses include things like travel expenses, advertising and publicity expenses, and phone and delivery tolls. Be warned, make sure that the contract is clear that the band does not pay any of the manager's regular office overhead. As an artist, you will want to maintain some control over your expenses so that they do not get out of hand. It is always a wise move to have limits set in contract as to how much of your money the management company can spend without consulting you, in advance. So that means it's possible for the management company to spend money without consulting you. So you need all those things drafted down. You need to have all these things listed on the agreement, on the contracts. You will probably want to authorize your manager to spend a preset amount each month without your prior authorization, just as a convenient to both of you. It can get tiresome if your manager has to get your approval on every single expense item, no matter how small it may be. However, you should be wary of giving your manager a blank check to spend your money, as this can cause you to lose control over your business funds completely. So that's what I'm saying, guys. This is the kind of advice that I'm giving you right now. So when it comes to canceling the contract, like what I just mentioned earlier on, that you need to have that on your contract. You see, if you see that the kind of manager you've hired is not the person you expected them to be, and they're not meeting your needs, and now you'd like to cancel the contract, make sure that you have that in your contract. If it's not there, then you're not going to be able to cancel the contract. You have to go through the pain and the headaches and all this kind of stuff until the contract expires. Now, so let me teach you, or let me just advise you, like with the canceling of the contract. It is also important to have some sort of out clause in the contracts. This should be some things that are considered significant breaches of the management agreement, which should allow the innocent party to cancel the contract. If you're signing a long-term contract, you may also want to have provisions that allow you to get out of the contract. If you do not reach certain income levels, you will want to include a clause that the contract stating that if your manager has a pattern of failing to get your approval for things when the contract requires him or her to do so, you have the right to terminate the contracts. And also, you need to understand what you are signing. You need to understand what you are signing. You understand that? Now I'm talking to a band. You're signing that contract. You need to understand what you are signing. You as a manager need to make sure that your band understands what they're signing if they're going to be signing that contract. Alright? Before you sign a management contract presented to you by a management company, be sure you understand all the terms in the contract. Once you sign and become a member of the management company family, your manager should be looking out for you, for your best interest. It is important for you to remember that until you sign the agreement, you are not yet a member of the family, which means you're just like an informal member. You understand, of the family, because you haven't signed the contract. You're not legally bound, and stuff like that. At this point in a relationship, the management company is looking out for its interest, and they expect you to be responsible for looking out for yourself. The management company likely has a lawyer who has written a standard management agreement, and who will be responsible for negotiating the management contracts with you. The lawyer represents only the management company and cannot give you legal advice. It is a good idea to hire your own attorney to help you with the negotiation process. Now, if you don't have an attorney, it is better to find someone who knows something about music, who can guide you through that contract that you're going to be signing, because you need to know what you are signing. Don't just sign because they promise to give you an advance of R500,000 and a Ferrari and a Bugatti and a jacuzzi house and all those kind of stuff in advance, because all those things that are giving you in advance, you're gonna pay for them later. They're gonna be taking those money, deducting those funds from your royalties, from your music streams, from your live performances, and all sorts of stuff. So it's gonna be taken back. You're gonna pay back. You're gonna pay for those chains that you're gonna be wearing. You're gonna pay for those golden chains and those diamond rings and those expensive clothing and everything that you're gonna be spending. You're gonna pay for it because they're gonna be taking it from your royalties. So do not sign something you don't understand. Read it carefully. And if you're a music manager, make sure that your artist understands as well. All right. So guys, I think this is it for today. On the next video, I'm gonna be teaching you how to fire your manager, because you can't fire your manager. You can say you're fired because you did say you're hired. How to fire your manager? You're gonna watch my next video and you're gonna learn how to fire your manager. All right. Thank you for watching this video, and please give me a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. Separate.